welcome back to the Jukebox Podcast. I'm still in Dubai watching the IBA World Championships. It's a Pro-Am event, which is really, really good. The standard's really, really good. I'm joined by former world champion Barry Jones to my left. Barry, good to see you, mate.
Yeah, you do. I was
going to pass you my own microphone.
No,
Sorry, mate.
Up in the world now, mate. Two microphones. Yeah, good to see you, mate. Always good to see you. I mean, the beeline for you. Got all these world champions around here, all these famous faces. And I thought, the only 3-weight world champion we got, I'm jumping over there. You and Ricky Burns, but
I appreciate it, mate.
Yours was when it was very difficult to do. So, yeah, good. I mean, I'm out in the Middle East all the time now, so...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, all the time with obviously all the Saudi Arabian shows.
Yep.
I've obviously been to Dubai, maybe done 15 shows in Dubai for different promotions over the years. Yeah.
Fantastic.
There's been a lot of boxing over here for the last sort of 10 years, I would say now.
Right. So what do you think of tonight's action? What do you think of the standard of the sort of Pro-Am scene that they've got going over here?
Yeah, you know what? It's hard for us, for our generation, to get used to professionals coming back down and boxing in amateurs, you know, or the three round format. I don't think you can call it amateurs anymore, but it's the quality. You just see the way they move their feet. I mean, I tell people all the time, you know, footwork is from the ground up.
Essential.
Boxing, and you see these kids, the way they move their feet. I mean, all the punches are great, but the way they position themselves around the ring, set themselves to throw the right combinations, but then always looking to move after. And you know, the art of boxing is hit and not get hit, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's easy to say that, but in the heat of battle, I mean, I was a guy who run all the time, but in the heat of battle, you know...
No, he was a good mover.
Yeah, but, you know, to want to hold your feet to land that big shot, which of course is what can make the difference, but to always have that thought of... I tell you what I see quite a lot in commentary, what you do after the punch is almost as important as the punch itself.
As the punch itself, of course it is. Yeah,
because you can I land a good shot and then you get caught with a better shot.
Another one back.
Yeah, and that's what they say, punchers can't take a punch.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's they put themselves in the fire line
to get
and
hit
they're so
back.
committed. They throw a shot and all they think about is the next punch they're going to throw, not what's coming back.
Yeah. And also, what I've noticed with a lot of these amateurs, like you say, as soon as they throw, there's a lot of wrestling going on. They get too close to one another almost.
Yeah.
And they end up getting in this, you know, it gets a little bit untidy, it gets a little bit wrestling. They throw each other about quite a lot. And I mean, the judging, I don't know if they actually score or to deduct points for that.
Yeah, no, I'm not quite sure how it will work. And certainly in this format, I mean, there's a criteria to judge, and it's punches landed, isn't it? And then it goes down, ring generalship, defence, all these things are factored into scoring. I'm not sure about style or untidiness, or, you know, you can get deducted a point for holding, of course, but if you don't get deducted a point, I don't think it affects the scoring at all, I would say. But I mean, like anything in boxing, the cleaner work is easy to see.
Yeah,
so the cleaner you are with your boxing, the more chance you've got to win the fight.
Yeah. Let's change the subject slightly, keep on the same topic. We've got AJ against Jake Paul. Yeah. I got to ask you, what's your thoughts on it? What's your outcome?
Same as everybody else's.
Yeah.
I would say a few years ago, then we'd all be up in arms with this fight. But the climate of the box, and actually, once Mayweather boxed McGregor, it changed it forever.
Opened the doors, didn't it?
It did, because you got the number one, pound for pound, number one in the world, still at the time, Mayweather. Yeah. And you know, he was, even though he was on the end of his career, still that, boxing a guy never boxed before.
Yeah.
And you know, and we were all up in arms about that, but it happened, and also it was, and he carried him and all the rest of it. But now it's different. I mean, I haven't got a problem with it. I really haven't.
No.
Will I watch it? I probably will, because I got Netflix. But I won't, like I didn't watch Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, and I genuinely never saw it. I watched the undercard. Yep. It's only, and I have no problem with it, though I think there was potentially loads of risk there. Mm-hmm. But one for a guy who never boxed, not having boxed at any sort of decent level, and one for a guy who's almost 60. You know, that was the worry there. But still, I still thought, you know, I'm not the audience they're aiming at.
Yes.
So me not watching it, no one's going to boo-hoo about that. So, and I'm not sad I didn't see a round of it. This one's going to be a little bit different because there's an active boxer who, okay, maybe he's not the fighter he once was, but the way the heavyweight division is, he can still have an impact.
Yep.
Boxing a guy who's, one, way too small for him, two, has no experience at any level. Mm-hmm. So, in terms of should it happen, no. because the climate has changed,
Yeah.
it doesn't affect nobody's career except for Joshua's. It's not holding up a world title. I always had a problem with that. You know, if it holds up anyone's, like I don't like automatic rematches when they've signed it before the fights happen, because you're holding up people's careers.
Yeah.
Who earned their spot on number 1, 2, 3,
Sure.
4, right down to number 50, arguably, because they're all moving up, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they all have to wait until you get your rematch.
Mm-hmm.
And so this doesn't affect nobody. It's a lot of money for both.
Can't turn it down, can they?
I mean, Joshua's got more money than God,
Yeah.
but this looks like free money.
Yeah.
It
does, doesn't it? Yeah.
I was doing a podcast with Sky the other day, and who did we have in? Oh, can't remember now. That's how old I am. But I said, like, say Richard Riakpo. If Richard Riakpo was when he was cruiserweight champion of the world, if he was going to box, no, it was Vidal Riley. Sorry, stupid me. Vidal Riley, who's a British cruiserweight champion, by the way, and a good fighter. You know, came off a really good win, against Chevon Clark when he won the British title. But if he was to box Anthony Joshua tomorrow, we would say that's crazy.
Of course we would.
You know what I mean?
Of course, and he's a seasoned. He is a boxer.
He's a good boxer. Yeah,
Yeah.
He was a world class amateur.
Yeah.
He was on the GB squad.
Yeah.
He's British cruiserweight champion.
Yeah.
You know, and he got loads of experience in that vein, but he's still boxing a heavyweight, former 2-time world champion of the world, who's 3 times the size of him and can punch holes through walls.
Yeah, sure.
So we're asking Jake Paul, who's, to be fair, doesn't look that bad. But
He doesn't look that good though, does he?
No, it doesn't look that good, no. But I mean, and like, you know this, like more than I will, of course, because you've got more experience than I could ever hope for. But I mean, it's okay looking good against people who you can bully.
Absolutely.
But when something goes wrong,
Yep.
keep in your shape.
Absolutely.
I mean, and like, that's why we have these fights building up to it before we fight for titles against lesser opposition.
So
to
learn and
learn to
develop.
cope with pressure
Yeah.
and how you react when you get caught or when things are not going your way.
Yes.
And it's all about keeping your form, isn't it?
Yes.
And he'll lose his shape dramatically.
At some point.
And if you give Joshua a free shot,
Game over.
you think so, wouldn't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. I would anticipate Joshua to hit him with a beautiful uppercut at some point, given the fact he's so small, Jake Paul. He might miss him with the right hands, Joshua, because they might go over the top of his head, but for me, it would probably be an uppercut, and then the fight shouldn't go more than 2 or 3 rounds at best.
I think the jab does. I think if Joshua steps him behind the jab and hits him with a solid left hand, that might break his face.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, literally, the panic when you get hit like that. I mean, so I boxed. I won a world title.
Sure.
And I boxed. I was world class amateur.
Yep.
And all the rest of it. And you saying that to you, but I mean, so I had loads of experience.
Yeah.
And in my last fight, I boxed a fella called Acelino Freitas. I was a world class fighter.
I remember him well.
Good fighter.
Knockout specialist.
I'd never been on the floor in my life.
Until
Up until then.
Yeah.
He hit, not the first knockdown because I didn't see it. That was fine.
Right.
But he hit me so hard with one shot.
Right.
I didn't know what to do.
Got you.
Bear in mind, all the fights I've had, I've been in some hard fights as amateur and pro.
I remember.
And he hit me so hard.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I carried on.
Yeah, sure.
It was only a fleeting moment.
Yeah, sure.
But for that
I
moment,
think I was there. I'm pretty sure I was.
For that moment, I went, oh, because it was so. I mean, but that's a guy my weight.
Yeah, sure.
And also not
course.
not massively above my level, but obviously clearly above my level.
Yeah.
You've got a guy here who's on levels, is in a different stratosphere.
Of course.
Plus, he's 3 times the size of him.
Of course.
Jake Paul's a big lump, by the way.
Yeah, sure. But
still,
Joshua's a man mountain, isn't he?
He's not human, is he?
Nah.
He's not. He's not.
Nah.
So yeah, you would tend to think it would only be go one way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, I appreciate your time, obviously, and your effort and the input you've given me today, Bray. I really mean it. No, I mean it sincerely.
Yeah.
You know, my job is to put the questions here and see what sort of answer comes back. But I like speaking to people like yourself that are knowledgeable and know the sport.
Yeah, but let me just say to you and to your viewers, if you're going to talk about knowledge for experience, and for the guy who's done my job and the guy who's been a boxer and a far better boxer than I could ever hope to be, right? Like, you don't get enough work. I'm saying this with a view that it would be my job you're taking.
Yeah.
But I mean, honest to God, you're not. When I hear you on other platforms like TalkSport, for instance, and I go, oh, I can listen to you all day because you don't oversell stuff. It's not hyperbole with you. It's common sense. It's technical, the aspect that only fighters of your caliber can give. And I'm not just saying it because you're here. I say it behind your back. It's like you had a fantastic pundit who's massively underused. And if you get a chance to do more stuff, like you used to do the golden era of ITV when it was you. So I was an adult then. I was boxing, but I mean, listening to you, I learned a lot. And I learned that about doing the job I do now through you. You're not taking the credit for my job.
No.
But
No,
I
you're
have
man.
learned through you, and so it's been a privilege to watch you box as as a young amateur, watching you win a world title, on BBC, and obviously, you boxed one of my heroes, a guy who lived in the same street as me, and Steve Robinson,
sure.
at the end of your career, but still, a fight I thought he couldn't win.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
But a body punch is a body punch.
Sure.
And Steve was just such a strong
He's so
guy.
big, so strong.
And a lovely guy.
Yeah.
But it's been a privilege watching you, and I'm glad to see you back in the game. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thanks, champ. I appreciate you, mate. I really do. Appreciate you. Thanks, Barry.